Welcome back, trainers. So we're going to be taking a look at this Hitmonchan raid, making a comeback. We're going to be using 4 unique types to take it out. After this, we're going to be hopping into some Tempest Cup Battles just to do some practice rounds and give you an idea on how some Pokemon are going to be performing. And we're going to hop right into this. Now, if you're wondering, well, why aren't you using Mewtwo? That would probably have been the better option. Definitely, but I currently do not have any Psychic Mewtwo's that are powered up at least. And if you did have Confusion and Shadow Ball, that is almost working just as nice as the Psychic is going up against the Hitmonchan. I just decided to use these Pokemon, and I could have actually used Gardevoir and done a little bit better here as opposed to using the Togekiss, although Togekiss is doing nice with the Flying Quick move and then Dazzling Gleam doing a pretty good amount of damage. So it is partly cloudy weather, so I do not have the boost on the fairy types in cloudy weather. Now before this, I did try to use my Celebi, Mew, and Mewtwo. They both performed well, at least the Celebi and the Mewtwo. The problem with Mew is it has Poison Jab, has Dazzling Gleam for a charge move. Now say I did have Psyshock, that's going to be more ideal. It's just, I'm not trying to use all my TMs on my Mew again. I've probably used both charge and fast TMs, a total of like 75 or more altogether. So I'm good. In comes the Moltres, just putting in work, taking resisted damage from that charge move on Hitmonchan, as well as dishing out a good amount of damage with that Sky Attack continuously happening. Falls, and now in comes a Slaking. That Yawn doing no damage, so I'm going to have to get to that play rough as quick as possible. And with that Hitmonchan doing super effective damage with that charge move, it took off a good amount, but Slaking still holding on, and then taking out the Hitmonchan. So yeah, I mean, I've used the Slakings up against tier 3 raids, a multiple of them, and they actually put on quite a bit of damage. Obviously the Yawn is going to be holding you back, but if you're trying to challenge yourself and just have fun with something like that, you know, give it a shot. Slakings are pretty funny to use, as well as that play rough just hits massively because they do have really high attack. Now let's go ahead and hop into the Tempest Cup Battles with Cherk here. Like I said, these are just, you know, fun practice rounds. And I'm going to be starting it off with Lapras, a pretty good lead for the Tempest Cup because of the bulk and the moveset it has. Water Gun and Surf, fantastic. If you do have Ice Beam, which is going to be Legacy, you'll be looking just great. I do have Dragon Pulse, which is Legacy on mine. He does switch because he was in a pretty vulnerable situation with that Flygon. Although he didn't know I don't have any ice moves because Flygon's going to be 4 times weak. He brings in the Raichu. I do switch into my Tropius, doing massive damage with that Razor Leaf. As you can see, just cutting right through the Raichu. And I am going to let this come through. It does a good amount of damage, but Trophy is still holding on like a champ. Definitely not going to use my charge here because it's taking out the Raichu. I'm going to go ahead and do that immediately. I could retreat and save it for later, but these are just practice rounds. Good to see the amount of damage it will dish out, although he's going to block there. Powder Snow, that is going to be 4 times effective because I'm going to be flying and both grass, and still it was holding up quite nicely. Just Tropius is a monster. Going to go ahead and bring in my Lapras here and hit it up with Surf for neutral damage, and I should be able to tank through that Powdered Snow quick move and possibly that Psyshock. So we'll go ahead and see how much that does. Am I going to shield this up? Yes, I do, because I kind of want to preserve that Lapras health there, seeing that I am in a good position. And when that Psyshock does come through, it's not going to do that much damage. We will be able to see here. Pretty sure if I do shield twice in a row, that'd be weird. All right, yeah, let it go through. Yeah, hardly anything. Still in the green, looking great. So we're going to go ahead and do that Surf again. And it charges fairly quick with Water Gun. And if you're wondering which quick move should you go with, Lapras, Ice Shards, which is going to be Legacy, or Water Gun, well, if you have a Legacy one, you're probably not going to want to switch that. If you had anything else that's non-Legacy, Water Gun is definitely what you want to go with there. So I'm hanging on with some red health there, and we're just going to use our shield here because we do not want the Lapras to faint quite yet. Dragon Claw would have took me out, and I wanted to get to that Dragon Pulse, but I was like, nah, it's not going to happen. I already know Flygon is able to charge its moves really quick, so might as well just go for that neutral damage there, with it being part ground type, and just Water Gun away. So the Lapras put in quite a bit of work, as you can see here. Still going strong, and now it's finally getting taken out by the Flygon. And in comes my last Pokemon, Plusle. So technically this would have been really bad if that Flygon had any more health here, because I'm not doing much damage whatsoever with that Flygon being part ground type. And Plusle is a pretty decent option, but you can get walled hard depending on what you're going up against, like Rhyperior or any sort of ground type Pokemon. And then I do take it out with the discharge there. Luckily, it didn't have very much health left, and I was able to finish it off. All right, good game. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. Now I'm going to be starting this one off with the Dragonite Dragon Breath. Unfortunately, no Dragon Claw, just Outrage. And I do believe it does have Hurricane. Did I purchase? Yeah, purchase secondary move. And he's starting it off with Raichu. As you can see, Dragon Breath is just tearing into it. It will do that to anything basically, unless it's a Steelix, something like that. Steelix is also going to be a great option for the Tempest Cup. Now, I was tricked here. Why didn't I shield? Because I thought he was going to go for a Brick Break. Good play, Cherk. You got me there, buddy. If I would have shielded, yeah, Dragonite would have been able to stay in there a little bit longer to take out that Raichu with Dragon Breath. So I'm bringing in the Marsh Stomp here, going up against the Raichu. Let's see what he does. Hitting me up with a Wild Charge. Didn't know if he was going to come with a Brick Break or not. At this point, I decided, okay, I wanted to shield so I can get as much energy for each charge move as possible. So when he brings in the next Pokemon, I'll be able to spam those moves and just completely wipe him out. Or at least burn through his shields immediately. So watch, let's see what happens here. He's deciding. So I'm pretty sure at this point he knew I had a couple of charge moves ready to go. So he's making his decision wisely. Gonna go ahead and hit up that Surf on that shiny Pidgeot that he bring out there, looking fantastic. Wish I had one of those. I have the Eradicate, which is at a very low CP, but that's alright. We're going to go ahead and hit up that next Surf that I had gained energy for, and we're halfway to that next Surf. So I decided to use my shield here. I wouldn't say it was a horrible idea, but probably not the best. So we're going to go ahead and gain that energy for the Surf quite fast with that nice quick move on the Marsh Stomp there, and hit it up with Surf. Let's see if he shields or lets it go through. He's going to shield to preserve that Pidgeot there. I would too, to see the performance. Pidgeot, how and is it going to be good in the Tempest Cup? Well, not quite, but I mean, you know, it's fun to test it out, right? To see how well it performs. I mean, I'm sure it can find its usability somewhere, somehow, in some situation. Bringing out my shiny Lugia, and it's hitting me up with Hurricane, doing massive damage there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do Sky Attack here onto that shiny. Shiny versus shiny. He still does have one Pokemon left, so at this point it's, yeah, pretty much, I wouldn't say game over, but it's not looking too great for me. So if you're wondering why aren't you doing Sky Attack, because I want to go to that Hydro Pump so we can do as much damage as we can, because he has no more shields left, and I will be able to do a lot of damage. There we go. Now, can I get to Sky Attack? That's the question here. Nope, and I'm definitely going down. And did you notice that is a Togekiss in the Great League? So congratulations for that, Cherk. That's pretty nice that you're able to get one of those in there. Not something a lot of people have seen before. So into the third round here, let's see what we have going on. I'm going to start it off with my double legacy Dewgong there. Very nice. I'm really happy with this. The performance is great. And he's starting it off with that shiny Pidgeot yet again. So he's going to be retreating immediately. He already knows he can't stand that. He's bringing out the Manectric. And that thing does have Flame Burst, which can absolutely find some usability. Having an electric move and also a fire move sounds pretty good, because if you go up against Tropius or possibly Abomasnow, you'll be able to have that fire to do a lot of damage. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Rhyperior here, just hitting it up with Smackdown. Smackdown, boy. Alright, and he's going to be bringing in the Alolan Ninetales, not looking great. At this point, I was sitting there comfortable, like, okay, we'll go ahead and hit up the Surf here, and I'm absolutely going to shield so I can keep this steam train rolling here with this Smackdown Rhyperior. Surf coming in yet again. It charges fairly fast with Smackdown, so this is going to be an absolute beast in Tempest Cup, but you need to look out for grass and water and ice. So if you are in a good matchup, it should perform well, but it also can go down fairly quick, so take note of that. Tropius will absolutely wreck it, so make sure you have Pokemon to back it up. Something that's not weak to grass. The team that I have set up here is not necessarily the best for grass defense, because everything is going to be weak to grass. But like I said, these are just tests. So what am I doing here? Not getting off Ice Wind, because I'm charging it up, and that's why I'm going to be using my shield here. Could have took that quite nicely, but I didn't want Dewgong's health to go down, seeing that I charged up Ice Wind nice. So we're going to go ahead and hit that up immediately. Doesn't matter what Pokemon it is. And Pidgeot's going to take a lot of damage there, and we're going to hit up our next Ice Wind just like that, because that thing charges quick, and that's why Dewgong is going to be good for Tempest Cup. And with that said, trainers, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed these battles, and I'll be catching you all next time.